Hey guys, Jonathan with Southern Drone Ops and
Candace Montgomery, sales director. Can we start over?
no, I liked it. I like that. We're going to do an update and we have a lot to go over. So these are going to be broken up into a lot of sound bites, a lot of 30 to a minute clips. We're going to have all kinds of things from our services to prepping for the winter to harvest to closing out our summer apprenticeship. We've got Aiden over the side here. Also continuing into our winter apprenticeship and things that are coming with it, new staff that are coming on. So we've got all kinds of really cool things we're going to be talking about today. On top of something that I've not talked about with anybody here in this room, we're actually going to start having a lot of, I hate to say podcast because like everybody's jumped on this whole cool podcast thing of everyone and their brother has a podcast and, you know, they're talking about, you know, whatever political their, you know, affiliation or whatever else they have going on. I'm going to try to keep ours focused around technology, keep ours focused around agriculture and things like that that'll kind of benefit the community as a whole. I really don't feel like anybody cares what I have to say or she has to say or anybody else has to say, but I feel like what we're able to talk about and kind of bring together, I think people will start caring about. And I do think that's something that at the minimum we can start talking about weekly. I have toyed around with an idea and I've not really told anybody else. The drone behind Candace over there is the M30T. It has the ability to go live. I am thinking about going live on a daily basis in the morning time while people are getting ready for school or people are dropping kids off at school in the morning, usually between 7 and 8 o'clock. I'm going to go live, have my unfortunate voice on there talking about news, world news, local news, political news, agriculture news, whatever type of news I can come up with, or just me on there rambling saying, oh, hey, look at this. I think it's going to look cooler as the weather changes. You'll be able to see the leaves changing, maybe sometimes see snow rolling in, see weather rolling in, stuff like that. So I think you'll be able to see a lot more cool stuff like that. And I think our first topic we're going to roll into is services. So services is something I've struggled with for a long time. Because as we all know, I didn't really start this to really offer anything other than just spraying. You know, I'm just a country boy. Dad and granddad were a crop duster. We were just going to be people that just, you know, provided a service to farmers just because I think being where I am in religion and where I am in life, I kind of live to serve. I feel better serving other people. I feel better helping other people. Makes me feel better about myself. And I think we all would benefit from helping other people. And so I think that's something that spraying and helping farmers and helping their bottom end as far as, you know, what they're able to make, what they're able to produce, how they're able to take care of their families. I think that's going to be something that's going to help exponentially. So service-wise, right now, being at the end of August, we have had, unfortunately, we had some things come up to where we kind of missed certain seasons like fungicide and insecticides and maybe some herbicides and things like that. We still have a lot of pasture ground. Grayson, who is the champ, I mean, he is right now with Gavin up in Malvern, Arkansas, spraying about 1,000 acres of pasture land for a great client named Lee. And I think he's got a lot more coming that he is going to spray up there. I think tomorrow when I go up there, I'm going to do some documentation for another farm that's got about 4,000 acres. I don't know if that's row crop or that's going to be pasture land. But pasture land is something that's been untapped by drones so far. I think that's something that planes and helicopters can't really get to. Ground rigs have problems getting to and struggling. So I think that's something we can definitely offer a adjunct and offer something that has never really been offered before. So I think that's going to be something really cool. Another big service is cover crops. Cover crops are huge, guys. There's a group called Indigo. Indigo, all they do is crops for phase 1 carbon sequestration. That's where like Taylor Swift comes in and says, oh, I'm able to fly around in my jet and I can do, all these, things that, cause all these, carbon emissions, but I'm actually carbon negative. Hee hee. Well, it's because she's buying carbon credits that farmers have made. And I think that that's something that kind of gets swept under the rug. And nothing against Taylor. I love Taylor. I listen to Taylor. I jam out to Taylor all the time. Probably more than I want to admit to. She's got good songs, especially if you like breaking up with a lot of people. But anyway, so I just think that she, uses that carbon sequestration and carbon credits as kind of a crutch sometimes. And those come purely off the backs of farmers. Those have been very hard to get in the past. I've heard numbers as high as $20 to $30 per acre if you do the right carbon sequestration in Scope 1 and Scope 3. If you don't know the difference, Scope 1 is direct drawing carbon back into the environment and trapping it that way. There be through like plants and things like that. Scope 3 is actually the alternating of wetting and drying to kind of release and pull the carbon back in. That's done a lot with like barley or soy. All I know is mainly with like beer, and I don't drink, so there again, I don't know where that goes. But anyway, that's one of the things. Cover crops are a big thing this time of year, especially that if people are kind of on the fence about what if they should get a drone or not, is going to be coming from the cover crop ability. With cover crops, we can spray, we can swap out our dry tank, we can spread 40 pounds of barley or wheat or clover, something like that. That's something that can really have an impact, and being the way the drones are set up, they're actually able to keep up with where they sprayed or where they spread, what they went out and did, keep a very detailed flight map, keep a very detailed application map, and that satisfies a lot of the requirements for phase 1 carbon or scope 1 carbon sequestration. So I think that's something really big that gets glossed over. So I think that's something that people need to, that farmers and applicators need to consider, is that dry spreading and cover crops are a huge thing. Another thing that gets glossed over now has been the swarming. Swarming was approved back, I believe, in April or May, don't quote me. Jonathan Ruprecht is the Lord and God to talk about that. He's who I use for all of my clients. He is the one to ask for all legal questions and what is right, what is wrong, what you can do legally, and he's definitely not going to tell you what you can do illegally, but he's going to tell you how to stay within regs, and that's why we recommend all of our clients do it. His pricing scale has changed because Jonathan goes back and retroactively adds in new approvals and new packages and new exemptions. So I know the 3 new exemptions he's added in, which I think he used to say was like $750. Now I think it's like $1,500 minimum. Then he's got a higher package that'll let you get more time with him to ask questions for your business and how you can be more involved as far as like what you can do legally and how you can set your business up. That's going to be more for your commercial guys, maybe even your farmer guys, maybe even your farms. But I definitely recommend getting as much as you can with Jonathan. He's a wealth of knowledge. I read every single thing he sends me. I value the time I get with him. He calls me, I stop what I'm doing, and I sit down and take notes. He has said that, with the last phase, the reiteration, that includes 3 things: not spraying, CERT guidelines have to be met. That's huge. We used to have to stop at, sun's peeking over the horizon, we got to stop. Not anymore. We can keep going. We can swarm. If you have a T50 controller and you can see in the fields to where now you can actually kind of cut up the fields, and I forget the exact name of it, that you're able to actually see different parts of the field and kind of cut them into different shapes and assign different drones to do that. So DJI's already kind of set in the ability to swarm with that. So up to 3. Now, I don't think it's going to stop at 3. I think it's going to go to 3. I think people are going to end up getting 6, maybe even more. So that's one part. The last part is the one visual observer. That's where if you don't have anything else out there, you've just got the one drone, you got the one person, you don't need a visual observer. Certain guidelines have to be met. And as always, check with these by Jonathan Ruprecht, not Jonathan. Don't take my name don't take me as the gospel. Take Jonathan Ruprecht, take his name as the one to follow up and go with. He's going to be the one to guide you the best with that. But another thing that we've had, and Jonathan sent out an email yesterday or today, and it is specifically mentioned if you've got clients on the fence that are talking about getting, do they need to get a drone now? Do they need to wait? Do we need to go to spring? Do we have a T60 coming? Do we have all this other stuff coming? Usually we're looking at about 1.5 years on the drones to come, the difference. I do know there's an aftermarket 13-gallon tank that I've not tested personally. I've heard good things about it, so I think it's a possibility, but there again, you're going to burn your battery faster. So you have to look logistically where you're at, where you're taking off from, how far your ferry time is, things like that. That's something us at Southern Drone Ops can help you with, figure and kind of calculate out. But I would say the 2 things that have changed is you have to have your N number, which means you have to register your drone, and you have to have your 107. 107 is like a 93% pass rate. If you hire Southern Drone Ops as a consultant, we give you the materials essentially that you would need to pass that 107 the first time. We have the videos. Jonathan has come up with a study guide. He's come up with a test bank. He's come up with the guidelines, and then we've got videos, and then we send out books that it would be, I think I've had one person and all of my clients fail it, and they really didn't even study for it. So I think the 107 is very attainable. The next big step that's going to be hard to get is that N number. That N number, if you were going to call me today and say, hey, Jonathan, I'm ready to go. I want to get 1 drone, or I want to get 3 drones and I want to swarm, or I want to get 6 drones and swarm them all. We have to buy the drone first because there's an RCID number that comes on there, that it comes with the drone. You only get that when you buy the drone. So you have to get that number, you take it, we help you fill out the paperwork, we have a walkthrough for it. That also comes with our consulting. If you don't want to get our consulting, hey, that's fine. We will still give you kind of guidelines to go by. It's going to be a lot harder for you to go through them, but you're still going to be able to go through it. Just keep in mind, we've got different packages with our consulting, all the way from a day in the field, all the way to a year. We're at your beck and call. We can come to you at any time, or I'm sorry, not come to you. We can talk with you at any time. Depending on how close you are, we can be there almost at any time. And if you get the highest package, we can spend an entire week with you and go out and make sure that you are comfortable with your drone, make sure you're comfortable with your setup. I will go through your trailer and make sure this looks good and this looks good, and make sure that you're really ready to go.
I just want to point out, because I'm a salesman and all, if you're in the area, like rice and corn's pretty heavy where I'm from right now with harvest, and if you need help with like cotton defoliate or anything else, we have pilots and we do offer spraying. So if you get yourself in a spot where you need some help or you're overloaded, call us and let us come help. And then that could also serve as you get to see the drone, you get to see the spraying quality and things like that. So we're here to help however you need the help.
Yeah, so that's a twofold. I mean, if you want to schedule a spray job with Chandas, if you want to schedule a demo day with Chandas, that'd be great. Schedule a demo day. We can schedule and come out and actually do a small spray job, not a big spray job, 50 acres or so. Let us come out and do that. Gather all your farm friends, gather anybody involved. We'll come out and do that. Chandas will run that. I'll come out, run the spray rig, let Chandas answer all the questions, and you don't have to just buy the spray drone. We offer services to Spray as well, obviously. We can spray fungicides, insecticides, herbicides. Right now we're in defoliation season. Guys, right now defoliation is a big thing. Make it easier on your tractor. Let us get out there, spray Defol 5. I sprayed Defol 5 last year and it did phenomenal. It helped tremendously with the yield. So right now at the end of August, if you have any questions or if you need help with Defol, we are able to get out and do Paraquat, Defol 5, things like that. We can really get out there and make your harvest a lot easier and a lot faster and get you done quicker. Get you to the duck blind or get you to the food plots quicker. That's another thing. We can spray food plots. That's something else that we've not really touched on is food plots. We can spray food plots. We can spray duck holes. We can get your land ready for hunting. The next thing to go through, winter spraying. Winter spraying, we don't really shut down. Last year, I think I took off December, but that's kind of because I wanted to. We've got winter wheat. There is winter annuals. There's all kinds of winter things we can be spraying and doing. Even if we're not winter spraying, we have the ability with our M350 RTK and our H2 to actually plot out your farm. We can go ahead now, as soon as harvest is over, get out there and start plotting your farm for the next year all the way down to your levee lines for rice. We can do 3D representations. We can do so many things with the H2 that it's hard to even fathom what all that thing can do. It still blows my mind. Spraying. We're looking at spraying. Okay, are you going to upgrade your tractor? Are you going to upgrade your spraying rig? Are you going to get a new spraying rig? Are you going to do all that stuff? Price-wise, drones, $30,000 package. $30,000 drone to spray, to spread, to do all these things with it that you can use almost 12 months out of the year. Versus a 160 to a 600,000, maybe even more spray rig. To me, I would rather buy 3 drones, and 3 drones, as Jeff Rutledge said, is the equivalent to 1 ground sprayer. So that 1 ground sprayer is going to be about $600,000. You do the math. And then you're able to dry spread with it, spray with it, so many more things you can do with it. But it's time to get off the fence. We got to pull the trigger. We got to do these things because my personal belief is there's going to be a shortage of these come January or February. I think once everyone gets that, they're going to wait until the very end, and then they're going to be like, oh, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to start doing my burn down. Well, sorry, buddy. It's taking 6 to 8, maybe even 10, 12 weeks to do that. We need to be doing that right now. The money you're getting now from harvest, let's go ahead and start using it for drones because that's going to be the best way to utilize it. You're going to need time to learn it, understand it, and it's going to take time for the FAA to process it. There's other Highlines. I just had a stroke, y'all. There's certain hoops and guidelines you have to jump through to do this. So there's that. So jump off the fence. The other thing, labor shortage. This is fixing our labor shortage. We all can't do OnlyFans. Definitely, look at me. I definitely can't do OnlyFans. So we have to work for a living. So these drones are not taking jobs. They're filling jobs that are empty. They're filling jobs that are not, that no one else is doing. No one wants to get out in the hot and get scorched. I've got so many farmers that carry a Mini 3 or a Mini 4 and they just launch it, look at the levee, and they go from there. So that's what I recommend to people right there. So do that. And then we've got the Mavic 3 Multispectral, the M30T. We've got so many other options that you can do. So jump off the fence. Let's see. Acres per hour per drone. Our T50 at a ULV, ultra low volume, at its best ideal rate. It's right there together, shortest ferry time, everything. we're looking at about 47 to 50 acres an hour. Swarming, we're looking at anywhere from 140 to 150 acres an hour. Guys, that's a lot. Spreading, we're looking at about 30 acres an hour, maybe 35 acres an hour spreading, depending on your weight. That just depends. Swarming, that's a lot more. We're getting close to the point to where we want the client to be, or the farmer to be, as least dependent on anybody else as possible. We want to give them the most ability to be reliant on themselves and be able to plan their farm the best way they can and do things themselves. So that's what we're trying to do, is give the farmer the ability to plan when they're going to spray, when they're going to plant, when they're going to do everything around their farm. So with drones, as we know, our drift is going to be shorter. It's going to be less. We look at our wind a lot closer. We are getting in areas nobody else can get into because of, I've got land this year I've sprayed that no one else has sprayed from the air just because of power lines. If you look at one of my videos with Jeff Rutledge, it's off the White River. It's beautiful. It's his highest yielding land, but it's also hard to get to. It's power lines. It's right on the river. Nobody can get to it. So the drift's shorter. It stays wet. You can get the drone in. Even if it just rained, you can't get your tractor out, you can get your drone out in it. So there's so many options with a drone that make it exponentially better in a lot of cases that were not possible in the past, especially with the ability of the batteries and the tank sizes. Sometimes the only choice to do things is a drone. Unfortunately, we all know when it rains, what do we all like to do? We all like to sit in the shop. We tell our significant others, yeah, we got to work today. We got to do some maintenance on the shop. We got to do this maintenance on the rigs. We got to do all this. I'll do this, do that. And we're kind of sitting in the shop drinking a little bit. Sorry if I just told on everybody. But yeah, that's kind of what we do.
Just outed every
farmer, and every farmer's going to hate me. But listen, guys, this is going to make your season shorter. This is going to make you a lot more efficient. This is going to keep you from sitting on your hands, because I know a lot of farmers sit on their hands and they're mad about it. They want to get out there and they want to spray right then and there. They want to get out there and spread right then and there, and they can't because they're sitting on their hands because it's rained. They can't get their tractor out. They don't want to call air. Now they've got a drone. Now they can do that. So that's a big, big thing. This week, like I said, Grayson's spraying 1,000 acres in 2 days. That's a very feasible number, even with one drone. 3 days, you could do 1,000 acres in 3 days with one drone, with one T50. You're swarming, you can do a lot more than 1,000 acres a week doing that. Even on the bare side minimum, let's just say 350 per drone, a T50. That right there is going to be 1,000 acres a day. And you spray 3 or 4 days, you're looking at 4,000 or 5,000 acres a day just swarming, doing 3 drones. That's modest. You could actually get 400, maybe even more. It just depends how many hours. We got night spraying. I've seen people, I don't want to say who, but I've seen someone's report. They did 14,000 acres in 1 week. 14,000 acres in 1 week with T50s. That's a lot. That's a lot. You multiply that out even at lower numbers at $8 an acre, $10 an acre. That's a lot of money, a lot of money. We have Mike Byrne. Mike Byrne is also the Lord and God of software. Mike uses Pix4D Fields. He uses Agromo. He uses Solvay. This is something that is setting us apart completely from everybody else. John Deere has See & Spray. It's expensive. And the efficacy and how well it works, we'll have to see. But I can tell you right now, with our Mavic 3 Multispectral and the software that we have with Mike and the Pix4D Fields and the Agromo and Solvay, we are able to scan a large amount, and there's a cloud service. The cloud service will let you process 2,000 acres a day of farmland. That'll let you make prescription maps. That'll let you make a spot spraying. That'll let you do so many things that'll make you that much more effective. If you get any questions about any of that, give us a call, send us a message. We can jump on. We can show you maps where we have actually identified the weeds, went out, sprayed the weeds, saved this much amount of money spraying, and there's so many other things that does besides just the weeds. That does germination rates, that does spot spraying, that does prescription maps, variable rate PICS application for cotton. The scans we do are also used for insurance. So with insurance, if they come out and they say, oh, there's 12% damage, well, my scan shows there's 15%. That 3% can be a big difference. You've got bigger farms. I recommend 1,500 acres per drone. So if you've got a 3,000 acre farm, maybe 2 drones will cover it. I know there's a Delta Farms, they got 18,000 acres. That's a collective of like 4. Those guys need like 10, 12 drones. And they would be a lot more efficient, and they would be able to do things they could probably never do before. It's just scary, but hey, we're here to help you. We're here to assist you every step of the way. We've got the staff for it. We've got the best sales manager. We've got the best content creator. We've got an amazing spray team. We've got 2 full-time spray teams. We've got amazing apprentices. We've got me. We've got an office manager. We've got Mike Byrne, in my opinion, who is the best in software analysis. And I think you put us all together, and I think we can save your farm an exponential amount of money, make things faster, easier, and so much more productive, and a heck of a lot safer. So guys, I appreciate you listening to me ramble, and if you got any questions, send me a message. I'll be happy to help you out any way I can. Thanks, guys.